Our first guest tonight, first openly gay man elected to the New York State Assembly. He's been an active supporter of same-sex marriage legislation ever since, and he's kind enough to join us right now, Danny O'Donnell. And before we get into the exceptions and everything else, do you think we're on the verge of some history here in New York tonight?
Absolutely. We are right on the cusp of history. Before I leave this building tonight, I will be an engaged man about to be married for the first time. And I'm very happy about that. I've been with my partner for 31 years. It's time that I get a marriage license like everybody else.
The big sticking point, according to Senator Ball and others, were these religious protections. We've seen some of the language here that was worked out in negotiation. I know you were involved in it. Explain in as much as you can in layman's terms to the audience at home what protections there'll be for not only churches but the Knights of Columbus and institutions that weren't there in the original draft.
Well, it was always my intention, since I participated in the drafting of the bill in 2007, to exclude religious clergymen, ministers, rabbis, imams, whatever they may be, from being forced to perform a marriage ceremony. And so I thought that was pretty clearly laid out when we did it in 2007. In 2009, we passed the identical bill in our House for the second time and third time. This year, Governor Cuomo sent a bill that incorporated some language which made it even more clear that there was no intention to make people perform those marriages, but people found them insufficient. The entities that you just mentioned, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, the Knights of Columbus, the Catholic War veterans, the Masons, the Elks, all of those entities are already exempt from all discrimination laws because they are private entities. They're written into the law. So they were never, ever in question. So anyone who would come to you and have fears about the Knights of Columbus simply doesn't know the law. In the end, the bill has been changed again to address those concerns. Like I said from the beginning, it was never my intention to force any religious person to perform or solemnize my wedding, and this bill makes that clear.
I want to get to the human part of it, but just a couple more Albany bookkeeping things. Yet another coup we hear. Can you confirm here? We've heard here that Skelos might be pushed and Libas might be in. Is that what you're hearing as well?
You know, the one thing you learn after 9 years of being in this building is you don't pay attention to rumors, because half the time they're true and half the time they're not true. I've heard that rumor. There has clearly been a lot of difficulties in the Senate conference over the last 6 months. You know, they're a brand new conference. For the last 2 years, we had a Democratic majority conference. This is the new Republican majority conference. They're having some growing spurts and some difficulties. Whether or not they're replacing the leader, I can't really say. I'm just happy to say the marriage bill is coming to a vote tonight, and I'm confident we have the votes to pass it.
Okay. Now, take off your hat as a lawmaker. When you go home tonight after the vote, and hopefully it won't be 2 in the morning, you're going to see your partner, as you said, of 31 years. Will you feel like you're more of an equal New Yorker than you were when you left?
Well, he's here. He has been here every time a vote has been taken, and he will be here with me when this vote in the Senate is taken. It will certainly make me feel that I'm an equal to all of my colleagues and an equal to other New Yorkers, because the truth is that a marriage license confers a lot of things, including rights and responsibilities. It won't change how much I love him or how much I'm in love with him. It will not change how much he loves me or how much he's in love with me. It will change the fact that our relationship is recognized, and if we need certain protections, we will have them, and I'm very happy about that.
Assemblyman, a lot of people, we've been opening up our phone lines, they say, hey, a civil union should be enough. Why do they need to get married? What's your answer?
Because marriage is the term that we use in our society. They attempted in other places, including New Jersey, to try civil unions, and they simply didn't work. And the places they didn't work were the ones that were most serious, like in emergency rooms. So say you're in a car crash with your partner and you're brought to the hospital, and they're saying, and you say to them, they're my civil union. People don't understand what that means. They know what a spouse is. We know what spouses are. And so in the end, to say you're that person's spouse means you have legal rights and responsibilities. That's the language that people understand. That's what a marriage license gives. It's my ability to call him my spouse, and I intend to do so soon.
You know, I've maintained that in a year or two from now, for those worried that this will be Armageddon and that the sky will fall, they're going to look back and say, what was the big fuss about? Do you believe this has been really more a generational fight? that the younger people, not just in New York but in this country, don't really see this as that big a deal, but maybe the parents or grandparents have a much different opinion.
That's absolutely true. That fact is borne out in the polling. It's borne out in how the polling has changed over the last decade since I've been involved in this issue. Please remember, John and I were plaintiffs in the lawsuit that was filed in 2004. So we've lived this issue for a very, very long time. And as every year more and more New Yorkers understand, this is just about simple equality. In the end, I think tomorrow's politicians are those who are for my equality. Yesterday's politicians oppose it.
Finally, if the vote goes as you hope here tonight, will this be the proudest day you've had in Albany?
I will have an extraordinarily large amount of pride in what we accomplished. It will make marching in the Gay Pride Parade on Sunday an absolute joy. It will sort of prove to me what I know is true, is that I'm an effective legislator. I know how to get things done. And then I'll have to sit down and figure out how I managed to throw a wedding where I invite all the senators and all the assembly members who voted for my rights, because they have to come to that party.
I was about to say, now you got to pay for the thing here. But Assemblyman, congratulations in many ways, and I hope when you're in our neck of the woods, we'll get you in our studio. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.